Coronation Street will reveal more sad news for Will Driscoll next week, following his recent grooming ordeal. As the teenager receives some disappointing exam results, his family try to keep his spirits up. Will has had a difficult time since his arrival in Weatherfield, when viewers learnt that he was being groomed by his sports coach Megan Walsh. Though relationship was later exposed, it was a long journey before Will got justice. At first, the teen denied the claims in order to keep pregnant Megan out of trouble, believing the pair would be running away together. But he ultimately reported her to the police and testified in court, resulting in a guilty verdict from the jury. However, while Megan was sent to prison, the Driscolls were left to pick up the pieces as Will tried to resume his life. And upcoming episodes highlight the extent of the damage Megan caused on Will's education. In scenes air on Thursday, August 20th, Will receives his GCSE results and is embarrassed to share them with his family. He eventually reveals that he scraped a couple of passes but failed most of his exams. Ben assures his son that they're all so proud of him for even trying, given the heartbreak and disruption he faced. Will he be able to ease the youngster's mind? Will was in complete turmoil at the time of his exams, so it's no surprise that he isn't top of the class with his results, notes our source. His education was also severely disrupted in the build-up due to everything that was going on with Megan. The priority for Will's family is to support him and make sure that he's in a good place mentally. There are always opportunities to resit exams in the future, and Will has many options still on the table. Life on the cobbles is rarely straightforward, and for Will another difficult chapter appears to be on the horizon as his family once again finds itself pulled together by worrying circumstances. The latest developments promise an emotional storyline for the Coronation Street youngster, with those closest to him facing the painful reality that sometimes family is the only thing you can rely on when everything else begins to fall apart. Will has already experienced his fair share of complicated situations, and the latest news threatens to leave him feeling vulnerable. While he may want to deal with his problems independently, it soon becomes clear that he cannot simply shut everyone out. Instead, his family rallies around him, determined to make sure he knows that he is not facing the situation alone. For those who have watched Will's journey, the development could prove particularly emotional. His story has shown that young characters on the cobbles can often find themselves dealing with problems far beyond their years. What makes this latest chapter even more heartbreaking is the possibility that Will may initially struggle to accept help. Like many teenagers, he may feel that admitting he needs support is a sign of weakness. However, his loved ones are determined to prove the opposite. As the situation develops, family members begin putting their own disagreements and problems aside. Whatever tensions may have existed before, Will's well-being suddenly becomes the priority. That creates an important shift in the storyline. Rather than allowing personal arguments to dominate, those around will have to concentrate on what he needs. There could be difficult conversations, emotional revelations, and moments when previously buried feelings finally come to the surface. For Will, however, the biggest challenge may be accepting that his family genuinely wants to help. He could initially react with frustration or embarrassment, particularly if he believes that people are treating him differently because of what has happened. But the more his relatives try to support him, the more he may begin to realize that he does not have to carry the burden by himself. That could lead to some touching scenes as his family closes ranks. Coronation Street has often explored the complicated nature of family relationships, showing that relatives can argue, fall out and make mistakes while still being there when it matters most. Will's latest storyline looks set to continue that tradition. The sad news could also have a wider impact on the people around him. When something serious happens to one member of a family, everyone can be affected, and that may be exactly what happens here. Some relatives could become protective, while others might struggle to know what to say. There may even be disagreements about the best way to help Will. One person could believe he needs space, while another insists that he should never be left alone with his worries. Those different approaches could create fresh tension, but ultimately everyone appears to have the same goal, making sure Will gets through the difficult period ahead. The emotional pressure may become particularly intense if Will attempts to hide how badly the situation is affecting him. On the outside, however, Coronation Street rarely allows its characters to escape their problems easily. Even with his family standing behind him, Will may still have difficult choices ahead. The latest developments could force him to confront questions about his future and the relationships he has with those around him. There is also the possibility that the current crisis will expose issues that have been ignored for some time. When families come together during a difficult moment, old wounds can sometimes reopen. Something said in anger could lead to an unexpected confession, while a seemingly small disagreement could reveal much deeper resentment. That would give the storyline another layer beyond Will's immediate problems. For viewers, the most compelling element may be watching the family dynamic change as everyone responds differently to the crisis. Some could become more compassionate, while others might find themselves overwhelmed by the responsibility. Will himself may also begin to see his relatives differently. The storyline could ultimately remind him that even when family members do not always understand his choices, their love can remain constant. And that may be the message at the heart of this latest Coronation Street development. Will's sad news is not simply about what happens to one character. It is about how an entire family responds when one of its own is struggling. The coming episodes could therefore deliver a mixture of heartbreak, tension, and hope as Will tries to navigate the latest challenge. There may be tears along the way, and there could certainly be moments when he feels as though everything is becoming too much. But he will not be facing it alone. With his family rallying around him once again, Will has people ready to stand beside him, even if he initially pushes them away. That support could prove crucial as the story moves forward. For Coronation Street fans, the emotional storyline offers another reminder of why family remains such an important part of life on the cobbles. Arguments may come and go, secrets may be uncovered and relationships may become complicated, but when something truly serious happens, those family bonds can become stronger than ever. Will's latest chapter looks set to put those bonds to the test. And while the road ahead may be painful, the fact that his family is prepared to stand together could give him the strength he needs. The big question now is whether Will finally allow himself to accept their help, or whether his determination to deal with everything alone could make an already difficult situation even worse. Whatever happens next, viewers can expect an emotional journey as Will discovers just how much his family is willing to do for him. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Crown ST.